Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
From Target Field in downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's Game 2 of our doubleheader as the Indians look to continue their mastery of the Twins here in Minnesota, where they have won each of the last 10 meetings. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians are red hot. They've won 6 in a row. They're a season high now, 14 games over the 500 mark. And Jason Kipnis, since coming off the disabled list, is showing that big bat, a double, couple of home runs. He's hitting all 3 games he started.
Really, he had a good game 1. He was hitting in the number 2 spot. In game 2, he'll be leading off, but he had a couple of singles and a big home run. He drove in a run there with a base hit. That was number 3 of the game, and then he did go yard. Another nice swing for Jason. It's nice to see him get rolling a little bit, get a little confidence, get him back into the swing of things.
In Game 2 of our doubleheader, Ryan Merritt gets the call up. The left-hander will make his second start of the year, ironically enough, against the Twins. The same scenario was in the second game of a doubleheader.
The 26th man again. He comes up, and he had a no decision in his last start, gave up 7 hits and 3 earned runs in his 4 innings pitch. But you know this guy, come out, stay aggressive, throw strikes. So you want to try and get him a lead early, let the defense take charge. Ryan Merritt always throws strikes.
Looking to continue this recent strong run of starting pitching in which the starters have allowed 1 run or less in 7 of their last 9 outings. Our coverage of Indians baseball continues in a moment. We'll check in with Andre Knott, get the very latest on the Jose Ramirez injury coming up. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution. to Target Field here in downtown Minneapolis, getting ready for game 2 of our doubleheader. A scare for the Tribe in game 1 of this doubleheader when Jose Ramirez was hit by a pitch near his right wrist. Andre Knott has the very latest.
Well, I think most Indians fans had a lump in their throat for most of the first game, not knowing exactly what was going on with Jose Ramirez. But after checking it most of the game, good news came from that moment. As our Hear Right sounds of the game is Terry Francona giving the latest on what's going on with Jose Ramirez in his arm.
He's okay. He got a floor scan or floor scope, and that was okay. So they took him for x-rays, and it came back negative. And, I mean, there's a chance he's even available in the second game. I think it just hit him, like, right here where there's that, like, on the nerve where for a few minutes there he was feeling it pretty good.
Well, that's really good news because it did not look good initially because he went down on his knee and he just looked like he couldn't get any feeling in his hand.
Yeah, pretty good sized knot on his arm right there. 4 Indians were hit in game 1. A couple of them grazed, but that was the worst one right there. And glad to hear that he's doing A-OK.
And so the Minnesota Twins take the field behind a rookie making his major league debut, Aaron Slegers.
Yes, and he will be our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. For Slegers, he is 6'10", 245 pounds. He's 24 years old, straight over the top. Not real overpowering, but you know, it may be a different view. It may take him a while to get used to it, as tall as he is. You can see his numbers from Rochester: 13-4, 318 earned run average in his 130 and the third innings pitched, 97 strikeouts, allowed just 7 home runs and only 27 walks. So you would think he may have a few jitters out there making his major league debut against a team that's been swinging the bat very well.
Yeah, the Indians line up a little different look tonight without Jose Ramirez. Terry Francona's starting 9 brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Jason Kipnis goes into the leadoff spot. Lindor will bat second. Jay Bruce goes up to the 3-hole. Then it's Edwin, followed by Carlos Santana. The hot-hitting Austin Jackson bats 6th. Then Abraham Almonte will be in center field, giving Bradley Zimmer a little breather. Roberto Perez behind the plate, and Giovanni Urshela will bat 9th.
And that Twins defense brought to you by W.B. Mason. Rosario is in left field. Buxton in center. Grossman gets the start in right. Game 2. Escobar at third. Adrianza is at short. Dozier is at second. Bauer at first. Jimenez behind the plate.
And the umpires for tonight: Chad Fairchild behind the plate. David Rackley is at first. The acting crew chief will be Alfonso Marquez at second. And Sean Barber steps in, and he'll umpire at third base. Well, Terry Francona's club has reeled off 6 straight wins. They've opened up a 6-game lead over Kansas City in the Central. Minnesota has dropped to 7 games back. And the Twins now find themselves a game and a half back in the wild card race. Key for the Indians on this trip has been a little bit of everything. I mean, the pitching has been outstanding. We'll talk about that when Ryan Merritt comes out. But offensively, Rick, they're starting to pick up the pace. They've outscored their opponents 37-14 on the road trip so far.
And they're scoring early. They scored 2 in game 1 of this series, or in game 1 of this doubleheader in the first inning.
Jason Kipnis looks at a first pitch strike from Aaron Slegers. 73 degrees, our game time temperature. And Kipnis hits a ground ball right at Adrianza. And the shortstop throws him out 1 away. The storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Indians trying to extend the win streak. And how about that? A major league record, 10 strikeouts now in 13 straight games. 10 or more strikeouts, and mostly more.
And they tied a team record. They with 19 strikeouts in game 1. And that Minnesota tied a record for them too, striking out that many times in a ball game.
Well, think about that. Carrasco struck out 9 in 5 innings, and the bullpen struck out 10 in 4 innings.
Yes.
So here's Francisco Lindor, and looks at ball 1 upstairs.
That's always the key to a young pitcher, is you check his secondary stuff. That looked like it was going to be a slider.
high fastball. He gets a swing and a miss.
That's one where you may want to get it down a little bit.
That fastball fouled off. And you figure he may be a little pumped up tonight making his major league debut. They tell us his fastball normally is 90, 91, but that one he pumped it in there at 93 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's a 5th round draft pick in the 2013 draft out of Indiana University. So yeah, you would think he would be a little nervous, but once you get out there and get that first out, I think you relax a little bit. He spent the entire season last year at AA Chattanooga, where he was 10-7.
Now the 1-2. There's the high fastball. He lays off.
And now they tried to do that earlier in today's game. You know, when you looked at Kyle Gibson, it was a lot of curveballs and changeups down, and it was a fastball elevated that they tried to get out, but they were able to get on top of a couple of the fastballs early.
Lindor fouls that out of play. Count stays 2-2. Well, for Aaron Slagers, the college scouts went a long way. I mean, he went to Indiana University, but he grew up in Long Beach.
Yeah, that's coming east.
Now the 2-2. Pulls that foul.
Well, Frankie, he led off the first couple of games of this series, hitting second today. I like him in that leadoff spot. He's a tough out.
Fly ball to left. Rosario will make the catch for out number 2. And that will bring up Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce, 3 for 9 in the series. Couple of runs scored, couple of runs batted in. Line to left, and Eddie Rosario will make that catch. The Indians go 1-2-3. The Twins come to bat against lefty Ryan Merritt when we return.
One, 2-3 inning, and Ryan Merritt is going to try to return the favor as he is our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Tribe. He's making his second start. Same situation as last time here in Minnesota. It'll be against the Twins, but you look at his numbers down there, 10-5 with an ERA just a hair over 3. He's done a nice job, and he's a control pitcher.
Paul Molitor's starting lineup brought to us by Hankook Tires. He only has 3 guys on his bench. All 3 of them are in the lineup. A-Ray Adrianza is batting 9th. Chris Jimenez, the backup catcher, is hitting 8th. And Robbie Grossman in the lineup batting 6th. Brian Dozier ready to lead it off. 0 for 8 so far in the series. And he drops a strike over the outside corner. The Indians put a 3-man shift on the left side of the infield for Dozier. Swung on and missed. He went down and in on him, and it's 0-2.
Well, that's him. He uses both sides of the plate. He tries to stay on the edges. He throws that little cutter in. He's got a good changeup away, and he spots his fastball.
There's a high fastball that normally Dozier will get after, but down in the count he lays off of it. Popped him up, got in on him. Right at the plate. Roberto Perez has it. 1 away.
Let's check out the Indians defense, brought to you by Ram. It'll be Jackson in left field, Almonte in center, Bruce in right, Urshela and Lindor are on the left side, Kipnis, Santana back on the right side with Perez doing the catching.
Joe Mauer, 2 for 8 in the series with a double. Pitch missed inside, ball 1. Ryan Merritt, guy, gets the ball, gets the sign, and he's ready to rapid fire. Mauer rolls over on it, and Kipnis takes care of that 2 down. You have to love defensively to play behind a pitcher like Merritt, who gets the ball and he's ready to go, and he's around the plate, so he forces the hitters to be maybe a little more aggressive, I guess.
Different style pitcher than you're used to seeing now today. Control guy, he has to move it in and out, you know, pitch in front, ahead in the count, keep hitters off balance.
Miguel Sano swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Abraham Almonte makes the catch. On 7 pitches, Ryan Merritt cruises through the first, and we are scoreless after 1. Tonight. Oh, there it is. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. Edwin likes hitting here in Minneapolis.
Yes, he does.
Low and away, ball 1. and they've been careful pitching to him at times. He's walked 3 times in the first 2 games of the series. Takes that for a strike to even the count.
He had a couple of good pitches to hit in game 1. He just didn't center him. And you know, when you're on a tear like he has been, you expect him when you see one down the middle for him to square it up. But
pops this one up in frustration, flips the bat. 1 down. Down to Andre.
Well, Arch, you've talked a little bit about what the starting pitcher for the Twins has. We all know that he's 6'10", but for Sleggers, the one thing they said is he uses the angle very well, fastball, slider, change. The one person they compared him to before the game to get these guys ready was Chris Young. He'll use that, elevate the fastball as we've seen them do all day today, but then he'll also try to lower it as he goes throughout the game.
Okay, Chris Young was a guy that, you know, he drove hitters nuts with that high fastball. They thought they could catch up to it, and a lot of times they just popped it up. But the last year or 2, he gave up a lot of home runs because you pitch up in that zone.
And Sleggers has maybe a little more zip on the fastball.
He does now. Right.
Chris Young.
He does now. Yes, he does.
The 1-0 pitch to Santana is in the air, right center field. Coming in, Robbie Grossman, the right fielder. They collide. Grossman takes a tumble. Byron Buxton made the catch. And now they'll check to make sure everybody's okay. And they appear to be just fine.
Grossman better be careful. You hurt Buxton. I mean, Buxton's all over the place. That's his ball. It looks like he's calling for it. He didn't say much, but you know, I'll bet you $100 he didn't hear him. You know, it didn't look like he was really aggressively calling because it was an easy play for Buxton. And when you're next to him, you got to know he's going to be there.
There aren't a lot of people here, so maybe Buxton didn't feel like he needed to yell as loud as normal.
Well, that's true. But, you know, he's out there. He takes anything he can get to, so.
Austin Jackson takes down low, ball 1.
Better be careful. You heard him. He's going to get released.
The 1-0 pitch. And that's in there for a strike to Austin Jackson to even the count.
Well, Matt, you guys both know that Tito doesn't have a lot of rules, but he incorporated one after he stole Edwin's home run the other night. Don't hit it to center field anymore.
Yeah, I know it. He's made some really good plays against us this year.
A little jam job to short. And Aaron Slagers rolls through the second. 6 up, 6 down. Middle of the second inning, no score. Will sit this one out. Terry Francona said he could be available if needed. He's got a wrap around that area on the right arm where he was hit by the pitch.
Keep the swelling down, I'm sure.
I think given the situation the Indians are in right now, you need him for the long haul. It would have to be a dire emergency for him to go into the game tonight.
Well, just had to look at the 2 winning pitchers in the first 2 games of this series. Salazar, Carrasco pitched very well. Both of them. Well, and Carrasco reeled it in after he had a really tough first inning.
A ripped foul on the left side. Normally you would say, boy, Ryan Merritt's got a tough act to follow the way the starters have been pitching here of late. But we have to remember he stepped in right last year in the ALCS and pitched well. So I don't think anything really phases this kid. The 1-1 breaking ball hit foul.
Let's put it this way. He's not afraid,
no.
you know, or intimidated. And it's to the point he just has to stay himself and don't try and do too much and locate. If he does that, that'll be good. Keep the hitters off balance. You're not looking for him to give you 7 innings. You know, if he can give you a solid 5, get through that lineup twice on a minimal number of pitches, he'll be fine. And you got to get him some runs.
Now the 2-2. Oh, they did call him out.
I was going to say, is
wow.
that holy smokes? I saw Merritt walking off the mound. I says, well, I thought it was close too, but it was a delayed call. Take a look at it on our Nissan pitch tracker. It's a fastball away. That's a pretty darn good pitch. Just a slow motion call. So he gets his first strikeout on a perfect pitch.
Speaking of the tough act he's trying to follow, the starters on this road trip have gone a combined 6-0 with 1 no decision. 68 strikeouts against 12 walks and an ERA of 1.76.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you know, he's not a strikeout pitcher, but you want to see him have some easy innings just like he did in the first. Let him put the ball in play.
And as you said, get him some runs. When he pitched here earlier this year in that doubleheader,
they did.
They scored him. He left after 4 innings and had a 6-3
right.
lead.
They got him runs early. You know, and you would think, as we told you about that string of strikeouts, 10 or more for 13 consecutive games, if he pitches well, you don't expect it to continue because he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's a pitch to contact guy.
Now the 1-2.
You see with the little game you play, he tried to elevate the ball, and he did. He made a good pitch. He just was able to get a piece of it, foul it off to stay alive.
Rosario, the reigning American League Player of the Week, 3 for 7 in the series. Tried to expand his strike zone, and he did well to lay off.
Yeah, when you look at Merritt down in AAA, he was 11-5. He had 89 strikeouts, only 26 walks in his 123 innings pitched.
2-2. He reached for it, but he found a hole. Banged it right back up the middle.
Yeah, that's the guy that's been swinging a hot bat lately, Rosario, and it was up a little bit when it was away. He was able to keep his hands back enough to get enough on it and drive it through up the middle. See, they want it down. Well, it wasn't that far up. I thought it was up a little higher, but he did a nice job. That's a good job of hitting right there. Hit the side of the mound, gets into center field. First hit of the ball game.
That brings up Robbie Grossman. Switch hitter. Got a couple of at-bats in the first game of the doubleheader. Struck out both times. And that's up the middle. Back-to-back singles with 1 out here in the second inning.
And you would expect that would be the approach too if you're a hitter going after Ryan Merritt, as you try to use the big part of the field, stay on the baseball because you're not worried about him throwing it by you. That one was upstairs and he gets on top of it. 2 hits right back up the middle.
Byron Buxton. Got the Twins on the board in game 1 with a home run, his 7th of the year. It was a solo shot. And a smash by Urshela into left field. They're going to hold him there, and the bases are loaded.
I don't know if Urshela got a piece of that ball or not when he was diving for it. It looked like he did knock it down a little bit off the end of the glove, but it was hit hard. Very first pitch, and that one was a middle. That's where you want to stay out of the plate. And I think he did get a piece of that. He sure did. But they still had to hold him up, so now they have the bases loaded with 1 out.
And up comes Chris Jimenez. First game of this doubleheader drew 29,579. This is the makeup game. So as expected, a light gathering so far. Might be some more folks make their way in. Turned out to be a delightful evening. Little high, ball 1. Chris Jimenez playing in his 50th game of the year. He's batting 192.
Or half of his starts from the pitcher's mound. He has 5 appearances out there, doesn't he? 5 or 6?
6. There's a pitch. It's in there for a strike. In 5 innings of work, Jimenez has allowed 4 runs on 7 hits.
That's amazing, isn't it?
But he's gone out there and
yeah. Well, that happens. That happened to them early this year, where he went out there a lot, and it was a big story early in the year.
The 1-1. A little high, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, he's got to get that breaking ball down. Doesn't have a feel for it yet. That would be a nice off-speed pitch he could use against this lineup.
He needs an atom ball in the worst way right now.
There it is. There you go. 73 miles an hour curveball. And it still was up.
The way that he pitches, he keeps the defense on their toes. They're already on the infield and the outfield. 2-2 pitch to right. Bruce got a great break on it, makes the catch. He'll fire home, and the runner goes back to third. Rosario was bolting down the line, jammed on the brakes because Bruce caught that ball with a full head of steam, and he figured, I don't want to challenge him and make the last out at home.
Well, Jimenez did a nice job to stay on that ball. He didn't try to pull it, and then you know, Bruce coming in makes that knee-high catch on the dead run, and you know you're going to tag up and make sure if you see it's on line you can stop, and that's exactly what Rosario did. He went about halfway down the line and decided to put the brakes on because he felt it was a good enough throw, and it was, to keep him at third. So a chance to get out of the inning.
Ray Adrianza, the shortstop and a switch hitter, playing in his 44th game of the year. And he's done a nice job batting .281. 27 hits. He's got 5 doubles, a homer. Missed some time last month on the DL with an abdominal injury. Bases loaded, 2 down. The 0-1 count. Merritt fires, chopped to third, Urshela goes to second for the inning-ending force. Nice job by Ryan Merritt. He got into some trouble, but he gets himself out of it, and we're scoreless through 2. Bottom third of the Indians order due up with Abe Almonte, Roberto Perez, and Giovanni Urshela. Aaron Slegers, 24-year-old, making his major league debut. So far, 6 up, 6 down, and he's done it on just 19 pitches. In the first game of our doubleheader this afternoon, in case you weren't with us, the first inning took 42 minutes to play. The first inning in game 2 took 9 minutes.
Little different.
Carlos Carrasco and his counterpart Kyle Gibson both loaded the bases before they got an out in that first inning. Fouled right back. Carrasco had to make 39 pitches. Ryan Merritt made 7 first inning. But to Carrasco's credit, he didn't give in, whereas Kyle Gibson did allow that 2-run single, so the Indians got some momentum going early in the game.
Right.
And then Cookie settled down and powered his way through 5 innings. But you know, you eat up almost 40 pitches in your first inning. On a lot of nights, you're not around to see the fifth.
He was flat. He didn't have command of his fastball. His slider was spinning. It wasn't breaking, and he had no feel for it. But I'll tell you what, after that, he tightened up the belt strap and came back and struck out about 4 in a row. So there's another late call.
First strikeout for Slagers, excuse me. 1 down.
You know, if he's saying something vocally, that wasn't a bad pitch either. That was a good pitch. He just takes a while to call it. I don't know if he thought that ball was inside. I thought it had the plate.
Roberto Perez. Low and away, ball 1.
Matt, Rick, you guys were talking about Carrasco and some of the issues he had earlier in game 1. He admitted afterwards he just couldn't find his slider. We noticed that.
Yeah.
Then he said he had to go to his change and his curveball. He was just glad that he had enough time with the team scoring to give him a chance to find what he had today. And he says it was big because he had no idea what was going on with his slider early on.
You know what, Andre? But he gutted out that first inning to not allow a run when they had bases loaded, nobody out, until he had a chance to find it.
Right. Tito said, you know, they were not laughing, but they were looking at Gibson and how long it took him to get 1 out. He said he looked at Mickey and he goes, "We're 20 pitches in and we still don't have an out with our guy."
Yeah, he was 20-some pitches in before, 27, 28 before he had an out.
28th pitch for Slagers is a strike, and he already has an out into the 3rd inning.
Well, sometimes that happens, boy. You, as a starter, you really have to battle because you don't have a feel or a command. And that's when he gutted through, and I give him credit. He only went 5 innings, but that happens.
Slagers walks his first, and that's the first base runner for the Indians. Our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. Here in Minnesota this year, head-to-head, the Indians are 9-0. They have outscored the Twins 65-19.
That's a flag for piling on right there. They have really dominated here in this ballpark.
And you go back to last year, and they won 10 in a row here. It's their longest win streak in Minnesota ever.
Yes. And if the Indians should go on to win here and go undefeated, the next time they have a chance to win in their home park, well, might be in Puerto Rico when we play them next year. They're
Double
the home
play
team.
ball ends the inning. So Aaron Slagers in his major league debut has gone through the Indians lineup one full time without allowing a hit. Stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Indians leading the American League Central Division standings. Starting to put a little breathing room between themselves and the pack. Up 6 on Minnesota, 6 on Kansas City, 7 on Minnesota. Twins are off tonight. We'll head to Kansas City to open a series there tomorrow night. Royals, they were on a roll there for a while, but they've kind of cooled off here. Like, their bullpen's been an issue for them. Ryan Dozier leading off, and you get to see a number of these hitters. They're so far out in front. Not used to seeing a guy with an off-speed pitch down low 70s.
Well, the first 2 games of this series, they were facing guys in the mid-90s. So, you know, you get used to it.
High fastball.
Although they did get 3 straight hits between Rosario, Grossman, which were up the middle. Buxton pulled one in the hole between short and third. And they were in prime position to score. They just couldn't do it.
2-1 to count on Dozier, who fouled out his only time up.
This has been a team that's been scoring a lot of runs up until the last 2 games. And they've had a good month of August as far as the runs scored goes.
Dozier pops it up, foul, out of play. 2-2. Now the 2-2. And that's smashed to center field where Almonte cuts it off. And a leadoff single now for Dozier. His first hit in the series. He is 1 for 10.
Well, this is a guy that's a high fastball hitter, and you're not throwing hard enough to get it by him at 88. He stayed on that one, didn't try to do too much. It's a nice line drive up the middle. That's their 4th hit. And they get their leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight.
Well, you go back to that second inning when he allowed the 3 consecutive hits. And then you think back to his major league debut when he came on in relief with Josh Tomlin. September 30th, that game in Kansas City. I'm sorry, his first career start. Not his major league debut was at home out of the bullpen, but his first major league start. Gave up hits to 3 of the first 4 batters and then retired 13 in a row. And that's the way it goes with him. He can get in a situation where you think, uh-oh, they're closing in on him, but then he can find a way to get locked in and gets a lot of easy, quick outs. Which I'm sure if you're in the manager's chair, Terry Francona, it can be difficult because you're wondering how long do I wait, you know?
Well, it's a lot like that with control pitchers. Think about it with a guy like Josh Tomlin. He could be rolling along and have about 60 pitches, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. There could be 3 runs on the board in a matter of 8 pitches. Because you give up a hit, you give up the hit, and maybe a long ball or something. I mean, it can happen quickly to guys that are contact pitchers.
Ryan Merritt staring long at Brian Dozier, delivers, and Mauer bloops one to center. Almonte has to play it on a hop. So back-to-back singles to open the 3rd. Thought maybe Almonte was going to go all out for a dive on this one.
Now, that ball, that's a line drive at you. Too tough of a play, because if you miss it and it gets by you, then you let a guy score. You give the base hit, keep the double play in order. You know, if he goes after that ball and doesn't catch it, then you set up a big inning or the opportunity for one.
Now he's got Miguel Sano.
I'm just a little surprised I see Jackson in left field and Almonte in center here in game 2.
Deep but foul as he was out in front of it. Austin Jackson patrolling left with Almonte in center and Jay Bruce in right. Sano flied out to center field in the 1st inning. Out of play to the right. And Merritt jumps ahead of him, 0-2. It's up high with a fastball. Trying to maybe tempt him, but not close enough to go after it. That one was down a little bit more, but still just above the strike zone.
Yeah, patient enough to not swing at it.
The 2-2. And that one was downstairs with the off-speed pitch, so now from 0-2 to 3-2. He didn't go, and the bases are loaded.
Yeah, from 0-2 to a walk. That you don't want to happen. That you want them to at least swing and put the ball in play somewhere. So now, after they had bases loaded and 1 out in last inning, they couldn't score. They have bases loaded and nobody out here.
Well, you think about it, Miguel Sano going into that at bat was 0 for 7 in the series with 5 strikeouts. So he was swinging the bat a lot. But that time, for whatever reason, able to be more patient once he got down on the count. Eduardo Escobar was called out on strikes his only time up. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Bloop toward right. Kipnis can't get it. A run will score, and the Twins take a 1-0 lead on a little Bloop RBI single to shallow right field.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that bullpen up and throwing here. There you go. He got in on him, but it was just enough where he was able to get it over the infield. Kipnis going out is the only one that had a play, and it gets in front of Bruce. So everybody goes up 1 base.
And the bullpen, as expected, is up and getting busy. Dan Otero will start to loosen. Mike Clevenger is also going to work out of the bullpen. He was the guy that got bumped from his spot in the rotation because of the doubleheader, because they didn't want to end up, as we talked earlier today, having 2 pitchers on the same day in the rotation.
Clev is out there, but also Trevor Bauer went out there as well, guys. Just a heads up.
Chop towards first base. Santana steps on the bag, coming home with the throw. They've got a double play. Got him. Boy, that's a huge play for the Indians.
That's a nice play by Santana to realize I can step on first and go home, and I still have time. You know who's running. Oh, that's right. It's Mauer. He gets thrown out again on the bases. So it's a double play, and it comes at the right time. Boy, did they need that. And Santana just stopped, and on the run, he makes the throw. Perez tags out Mauer. Nice double play. And they may want to look and say that Mauer's foot might have got there before the tag is what's going on, but I don't think so. Yes.
They're going to challenge it.
Yes, they are.
Or are they going to call him for blocking a plate?
No, he's
I
not
think his
blocking.
foot's in. Yeah. Was it in the air or was it on the plate? This is where we get back into splitting hairs on these plays sometimes. The foot, the knee, there's the tag. Well, I don't know. I thought maybe he tagged that back knee, but
Well, he had the ball in plenty enough time to make a tag. The ball beat him, so if he gets that foot in there before, that's Perez not getting out and getting the tag because his foot was up in the air.
yeah, that's the thing. I think on that side look, it appeared that the foot was in the air. It might not even been on the plate.
And it probably was. A lot of times guys will slide and that foot will.
Watch the lead foot.
It's up in the air as it goes high. It's in the air, so it's going to be interesting because the call on the field is out. I mean, it may look like that foot is on the plate, but I think it's above the plate.
This is one of those crazy things, though, where you start wondering, do they have to revisit the whole home plate situation? Because if you're not allowed to block the plate and the ball beats you by as much time as it did there.
Well, with the way that play was taking place, Santana had it. He was coming home with it. Perez he didn't have to go out and get the throw. He could let it track deep before he applies the tag. So we're looking at it. That's going to be interesting. They're going to have to slow it down, but the tough thing to call is the foot down or is it above the plate? Right there, it looks above the plate. So this is not an easy call.
We have a decision.
He's still out, so they get the double play. See, that's the call the fans don't realize. The call stands, but that foot, a lot of times when guys do slide, that foot stays high, you know, because they have the spikes on it. They keep it a few inches above wherever they're sliding, whether it's the base or the plate. So double play 3-2.
And the Twins now will not be able to challenge until the 8th inning when they can ask for an umpire to take a look at something.
I have to say, I thought it was a good challenge by Molitor on his side. You know, it was too close not to, because that's an extra run here.
Well, Robbie Grossman's out of the game. I think that collision in the outfield, he might have banged his head against Byron Buxton. Max Kepler swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Is Roberto Perez going to get there? No, it's on top of the dugout. Let's go back and see, Arch. Watch Grossman's head. Does it catch? No?
Maybe the knee.
Hard to see if anything happened there, but you would have to believe it's some kind of health issue if he's out of the game this early. Oh, 1 to Kepler. In the air to left. Austin Jackson says, I'll take it, and he does. Once again, Ryan Merritt able to navigate his way through some serious traffic here in the third. Twins take a 1-0 lead. Going to the 4th inning. Andre, we saw the guys working in the dugout.
Yes.
It looked like Danny Salazar had the scissors out. What were they working on?
Well, since there's 2 games, they figured we deserve 2 balls today. So today, it's been players that are watching the games. If you think you already got it figured out. And we actually let Bradley see it after they handed it to me so you could see it. So maybe you can even see the shot of Bradley.
That is great.
And how happy he was. They are on fire right now. They're on a roll. Bauer now, as I told you guys, he's out in the bullpen. So I don't know if we'll have anything ready for tomorrow in Kansas City unless he's got something in his back pocket.
Well, you get time out in the bullpen to do it too.
Jason Kipnis will lead off the 4th here for Cleveland. 1-0 Minnesota. And a fastball catches the outside corner from Aaron Slegers, making his major league debut. And through the first 3 innings, only 1 base runner, a walk to Roberto Perez, who was then erased on a double play ball. Max Kepler takes the place of Grossman in right field after he hit for him. And Kipnis goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Slegers. 1 down here in the 4th.
Well, live Indians baseball is back in 2017 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. You can stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download the #1 app for live baseball. That's MLB.com at bat.
Francisco Lindor. Fly to left in the 1st. And a foul back. That game we talked to you earlier about, the Cincinnati and Chicago, where the Reds scored the first 9 runs. Cubs came back, scored the next 9 to tie it. Cincinnati ended up pulling away and winning 13-10 at Wrigley Field today. You score the first 9 and have a lead like that.
Well, if you don't hold on to it, then that's a tough loss. But they were able to come back after the Cubs tied it up. They answered it, I think, in the top of the 7th, where they scored 2 and got the momentum back in their favor. That would be a tough loss.
Lindor cuts and misses, and it's 2-2.
Well, it's been a breaking ball, a change up in the fastball, just like they say, and he elevates the fastball.
And Lindor smokes 1 foul. Ooh.
That's getting out in front.
The other way, slicing, and that's foul. Just beyond the reach.
You know, watching some of the swings our guys are taking off him, it looks like it may get on you a little
Sneaky?
quicker than you think. Yes, a little sneaky. He's got maybe that little extra stride to home plate. That's a good pitch down.
5 ball to left. 2 down. So Robbie Grossman is out of the game with a left thumb injury. Take another look at his left thumb. That's his non-throw, or his throwing hand. Yeah, it kind of slams right into the forearm or wrist of Buxton.
Yeah, they're lucky they didn't collide, you know, a little differently. So you can see it didn't look like it was much, but obviously it was enough to get him out of the ball game.
Jay Bruce takes a fastball for a strike. The appeal he did not go, says Sean Barber down at third. And the count 1-1. There's the 1-2 off the plate.
Twins about as straight up as you're going to get for Jay Bruce.
2-2. Low and a full count.
That was a changeup, tried to get him to go fishing.
Payoff pitch hit a ton. Deep right field. Kepler's going to watch this one leave the yard. Deep into the back row of the bleachers down there in right field. And Jay Bruce has tied the game at 1 with his 30th home run of the year. It's his first as a Cleveland Indian.
Well, he tried to throw the piece of cheese by the rat and he didn't get it by. He was ready for a 3-2 fastball and it was pretty much middle of the plate. And he put a nice swing on this one. This will be our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. 3-2 fastball. Boy, right there, about belt high, maybe a little bit lower. Good swing. And one swing of the bat, and the first hit for the Indians ties the game up.
I think that guy in the back row kept it from going beyond the seats. Knocked it down out there. First hit of the game for the Tribe. It leaves the yard, and we're tied at 1. Up high 2-0. Fifth time in his career he's reached the 30 homer plateau. 3-0 to Encarnacion. Edwin draws a 2-out walk, and it will bring up Carlos Santana.
Well, you gotta love hits that you score once they get to 2 outs, because you think you're out of the inning and all of a sudden you get one up.
Now here's Carlos Santana. In the series opener on Tuesday night, Santana was 3 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 home runs. He's tied for the most home runs ever hit here at Target Field by 14. A visiting player.
Right.
1-1.
Bautista and Salvador Perez, they have 14 tied with them. You said the second time he's hit him from each side of the plate in the ball game.
Yeah.
He's done that twice this year.
He and Jose Ramirez have each turned it twice. Slow chopper, foul.
Yeah, get foul. You hate to have an at-bat like that end it.
Francisco Lindor is also homered from both sides of the plate in the game. And I'm trying to think, was that back in Texas in the first series of the season? The third game of the year.
Because he hit the grand slam in the 9th inning. And then, yes, right-handed, he hit a solo shot.
Now the 1-2 in off the plate. Two hit hard, but backhanded nicely by Mauer to end the inning. Middle of the fourth, we're now tied at 1 thanks to Jay Bruce in his first home run in an Indians uniform. T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball Break. Eric Hosmer, last 21 games, hitting at a .337 average, 5 homers, 20 driven in. He scored 18 times.
Yeah, well, you remember the start of this year, he got off to a bad April. But boy, has he kicked it in gear ever since that month changed.
Indians will play tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon in Kansas City. Dan Otero is still up in the pen, so we'll see how Terry Francona plays this with Merritt starting this 4th inning.
Well, take into consideration the last 2 innings. They had 6 hits. They had a bases loaded, 1 out in the second, didn't score. Bases loaded, nobody out, and they were only able to get 1 last inning. So he's had to navigate through some tough situations here early. He did get the double play ball. Santana was able to step on the bag and throw home.
Slowly chopped to third, and Urshela does not come up with it.
I think he tried to rush a little bit right there. He knew who was running and then tried to be a little too quick with the baseball. And that's going to be an error. Just never caught the ball cleanly. It slides out, so an error. That's not the guy you want to make an error on, because he can run, he can steal a base.
Chris Jimenez lined out to right, his only time up.
And Jimenez had the right approach in his first at bat, where he lined out to right field. You'll get a look at Urshela right there. Just never really caught it cleanly. Stopped to put on the brakes, but it didn't matter. With Buxton going down the line, everything has to be clean.
Otero continues to throw in the pen. He's ready, just making a couple of tosses every now and again just to stay loose. And a chopper foul. You know, to your point, twice tonight and once earlier today, so 3 times today the Twins have had the bases loaded with none or 1 out.
Right.
Twice with none out, once with 1 out, and have scored a total today of 1 run.
1 run, right. Well, you know how that rolls when you need that first hit. You got to get somebody rolling. It seems to relax the rest of the lineup.
That quick snap throw had Buxton really scrambling to get back. He was not expecting that. Out of play. Oh, 0-2 the count. And he runs it up high.
Love to have a ground ball here at one of your infielders. That's good. You hold it, you throw to first. You give them different looks, so a lot of pitchers will have a timing that they like to go to home plate if they know they're just going to throw the ball.
Runner goes, pitches outside, throw by Perez, not in time. This guy is blazing fast.
Well, and he picked the right pitch too, Matt. He picked a changeup to go on, so there's not much Perez could do there. He waited till he lifted that leg and you could see the jump, and his strides, they're longer than a normal person's, and he gets there in a hurry. Head down, and you could see a straight steal. He didn't even peek back to see what he did with the pitch, but I had a feeling he thought it was going to be an off-speed pitch, and he was right.
He's stolen 21 out of 22 on the year. Now the 2-2.
See, he's trying to serve it to right. Now you want to try to get him to try and pull the ball so you can't get that runner over. Before you were looking for a ground ball double play.
Two. And a one hopper to Jason Kipnis that will get that runner over to third. And there's 1 out.
They'll celebrate Cleveland's 2-time manager of the year on August 23rd. 12,500 fans are going to receive a Terry Francona bobblehead. That'll be courtesy of Pepsi. The Indians will take on the Red Sox. Great seats remain. You can grab a district ticket, $13 one, or a sports time or a $15 KeyBank Kids ticket. Just go to Indians.com for the tickets.
Number 9 hitter, Ray Adrianza, hit a ball at third baseman Giovanni Urshela in the second inning. Indians bring the infield in. This is where speed puts the pressure on a defense, even with the infield in.
Yeah.
If he's going on contact, you can't bobble it.
Well, I would think at this point in time of the game, you go on contact with the speed that he has.
Adrianza takes, just missed, 2-0.
And when you're a base runner and you're on third base and you're told to go on contact, I'll tell you, the first thing you know is you look down in the zone right where that pitch is, because a lot of times if a hitter's going to hit it on the ground, it'll be a low pitch and you'll get a better read off of it walking off third base.
That's hit hard. Austin Jackson makes the catch, but Buxton tags, and he is going to score the go-ahead run. 2-1 Minnesota. Adrianza with his 16th run batted in.
Yeah, so the error comes back and hurts him. Sacrifice fly, but he was on the error by Urshela. So they retake the lead, and out comes Terry. That's going to do it for Ryan Merritt.
Well, Merritt goes 3 2/3 here tonight. Last year, Ryan Merritt gave up 6 hits in 36 at bats against hitters. They got him for 6 hits here tonight in 3 2/3 innings of work. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. Dan Otero's coming on when we come back. Out of the game here with bases empty and 2 down. But Terry Francona obviously did not want him to face Brian Dozier for the 3rd time tonight. Now that Minnesota has regained the lead, he's going to go to Dan Otero and piece the rest of this together with the bullpen. Dozier's swing and a miss. Indians used 6 pitchers in game 1 of this doubleheader. And a base hit in the left field. Dozier's 2 for 3. guys that were really used extensively today, though, were Brian Shaw and Zach McAllister. They each threw 27 and 24 pitches respectively. So those would be probably the only two guys that are down for game 2. Joe Mauer. Base hit his last time up.
Notice that he's getting after that first pitch a little bit more because of the strikeouts I think that he's seen in the first couple of games of this series. He's a guy that normally takes that first pitch most of the time.
Yeah, he had struck out 5 times in the first 2 games.
And I'm thinking now, once you do that, get in your head, I better get after that first pitch if they're going to try and throw me strike 1 like they have done.
Just in off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. To third, and that goes by Urshela.
Tough play when a left-hander slices one at you at third base, and it got on him in a hurry at the backhand side. This ball's hit very hard going past Urshela. You can see on the backhand side that ball gets past him. So with 2 outs, they get back-to-back hits off Danny Otero. He's trying to end it right here, get out of this inning and keep it a 1-run ball game.
Miguel Sano fly to center in the first. He walked his last time up. Bangs it foul. Brian Dozier is at second base. Joe Mauer at first. Soto swings over the top. It's 0-2. Bounced it and blocked by Perez. Runners hold. It's 1-2. Swung on and missed. Otero strikes him out to end the inning. But an unearned run gives Minnesota a 2-1 lead after 4. Baseball is brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by Cleveland Clinic, Express Care online. Download it now for free. Well, it's now a 2-1 Minnesota advantage. And here in the 5th inning, Austin Jackson will lead it off against Aaron Slegers, making his major league debut here tonight. He's given up just 1 hit, the home run to Jay Bruce. He's walked 2, struck out 2.
Yeah, that's the only ball they've hit hard today, but it was able to get him on the board.
This is one of those games where if you're Minnesota, you're sitting there thinking, boy, it feels like we should be up 6-1, 5-1, something like that. And you look up and it's a 1-run game.
Well, the funny thing, though, that second run was unearned. It was given to him with an error, so it'd still be a 1-1 game. But offensively, you're going to have to come back in the second time through for this guy, Slegers. Still just 1 for 4.
This is the 8th game of the road trip, and the Indians have committed 3 errors thus far, 2 of them by Urshela. And Jackson with a line drive to center field. Caught for out number 1. Time for a game break with Al Pulowski. Thanks, Al. Here's Abraham Almonte. A little tapper gets by Slegers. Dozier with the scoop, and they got him. The old scoop flip from the glove for out number 2.
Good play. Good hustling play there by Brian Dozier. He comes on and just in time to get him. It was close, but once it got by the pitcher, look at the scoop. Well done. And then he gets down on that slide so he doesn't get into the play or the action. Nicely done.
And 2 down for Roberto Perez. Perez was the first Indian to get aboard tonight when he walked with 1 out in the 3rd. Ground ball to 3rd. Escobar has it, throws him out. Indians go in order. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Minnesota.
The Tribe's only regular season series of the year against the Red Sox that are coming to town when we return home on Monday. It'll be a 4-game series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all 7 o'clock games. Get yourself a district ticket or a KeyBank Kids ticket. Go to Indians.com for those tickets.
Well, bottom of the 5th, Indians down a run. Dan Otero at the final out of the 4th, stays on here in the 5th, and he's given up 3 hits and 4 batters that he's faced. The in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Eduardo Escobar's RBI single in the 3rd gave the Twins a 1-0 lead. Jay Bruce tied it with his first home run as an Indian. And then Minnesota came right back, picked up an unearned run in the 4th. A sac fly by Ehire Adrianza. Eddie Rosario 1 for 2. Mike Clevenger is up in the Tribe bullpen.
It's a good combination to try something here with Danny Otero, who's a ground ball pitcher. You know, you want to stay out of a double play. This guy's been swinging a hot bat and can put the ball in play. See how aggressive Molitor wants to get here.
Back out of play. Chops it foul. Eddie Rosario was in the middle of that key play in that 3rd inning when he chopped the ball to first. Santana grabbed it, stepped on the bag, and threw home for a double play when they were loaded up. Strikes out here. 1 down.
Change up down. It gets him to expand the zone. That's trying to be aggressive over there, and he swung at a pitch. It was a good pitch, but maybe a little off the plate. That'll be the 2nd strikeout for Otero.
And with 1 down, here's Max Kepler. Came on when Robbie Grossman injured his thumb running into center fielder Byron Buxton earlier in the game. Two and 0. All 3 pitches have been in the same spot, and he hasn't swung yet. 3 and 0. That one caught the plate. 3 balls and a strike. Byron Buxton waits on deck.
This is not a bad time to run either. 3-1.
Fouled back.
He dove on that foul ball like it was a fumble.
Well, he went after the first one like he was a soccer goalie.
He finally got it. He had it, fell out, dives on top of it.
Runner goes this time. Hit in the air, shallow right. In comes Jay Bruce. And back to first base goes Escobar. 2 down. Down to Andre.
Well, we've talked about Byron Buxton playing better baseball and being better at the plate. Since July 4th, he's hitting .368 with 11 RBI and 3 home runs. Hit one earlier today. And guys, it's a little different because he did this last season too, if you remember. In September, he had about .350, .360 to secure a job for this year. I'm not sure if that correlates, but it's pretty interesting to watch right now.
Well, he's very talented. They feel here that he's a 5-tool player, Andre, and we'll see. Maybe sometimes the pressure's off. He relaxes a little bit.
For the second time in as many innings, Terry Francona will make a 2-out pitching change. Mike Clevenger's coming on next.
Including savings and access to Tribe Rewards, and today's Tribe Rewards code is Chisenhall. Visit Indians.com for complete details. Speaking of Chisenhall, I think he's playing today down there in left field, Columbus.
Mike Clevenger is the third Indians pitcher to work here tonight with 2 out in the 5th inning. He's been in the rotation, but with yesterday's rainout, he was scheduled to pitch today. So what they did is they didn't want to have Clevenger and Carrasco both on the same day in the rotation. So they moved Clevenger to the bullpen. But he'll jump back into the rotation next time around. So don't expect him, I wouldn't think, to pitch much here tonight. Maybe a couple innings at most. Buxton reached on an error and scored the go-ahead run in the 4th. One ball, one strike.
Escobar led the inning off with a base hit and has not moved from first base. Strikeout, fly out to right field.
And there's a strike call. Clevenger moves ahead in the count, 1-2.
Well, this is where you like to see him spot that fastball. Good low fastball at the knees. Tough one to hit right there. And I think Buxton thought it was low.
There you go. No, he did not on the appeal, says David Reckley. Byron Buxton was just 2 for 20 against the Indians here at Target Field on the year coming in, but 2 for 4 so far in this doubleheader. That'll make it 2 for 5 because of the error last time up.
But that's the difference in the game. That run right there led off the inning on the error and ended up coming around to score on a sacrifice fly. What are they doing? Looking at this, was he picked off? Was he? They must feel like he picked him off.
Indians are going to challenge it.
Minnesota's out of challenges so far.
Let's see. You be the judge. Oh, he's out clearly. Santana's got the tag on his back before the hand gets there.
Well, that's what they felt. Obviously, they saw that in the replay room. And they said, hey, they must have made a call and said he's out.
That's called putting the throw on the runner.
Yes.
Santana caught it.
Santana's starting to walk off. He feels like he got him. But the call was safe. Let's check it out. Same angle we just looked at where the ball is right on his shoulder. Or right there, as soon as he dives right into the tag, it looks like, before the hand can reach the bag. Well, that looks like it from that angle.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty convincing. Not sure why it's taken that long.
Well, it was called safe on the field. Maybe they want to make sure that that tag was on him by the time the hand got to the bag.
Unless he's got 13-inch long fingers.
Well, he could have.
I don't think there's any way he could have had a finger on the bag when they tagged him.
Well, they're looking at something in New York.
Wow, I'm surprised it's taken this long. We've seen.
Well, you're right. It looked like the very first angle we looked at looked like he had him, and he was called out. And the Indians, they made their call that they wanted to challenge quickly. So it seems like they saw something. But in the meantime, Clevenger is going to continue to throw with the ball and stay loose until they come up with a decision here. I mean, they're just those poor guys. They're standing there with headsets on.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking to them. I mean, they're just standing there lonely.
Alfonso Marquez is the crew chief tonight.
They ought to play a game of flip, man. Get a coin and say odd or even. Let's go.
The tag's on him right there.
Well, and the hand wasn't at first base either.
Right there, the glove is moving because it's jammed into his back. And the hand's still well shy of the bag.
Okay, but we're not making the call.
That's true.
But I mean, I agree with you. He looks out to me. Well, it looks like we finally going to get a call here.
I give up. How in the world can they say?
Look at he's smiling. He knows he's lucky there. He got away with one. Well, the call on the field was safe, and obviously they're going to say that couldn't tell if the hand was at the bag or not. That's the only thing I could think of because it looked like he was out. So now both teams are out of challenges.
The 2-2. He strikes him out. So all that waiting for nothing. Clevenger gets the strikeout. The side is retired. After 5 innings, the Twins lead at 2-1. FS1, big matchup between the Dodgers and the Tigers. Coverage begins Saturday 3 Eastern on FS1 and it streams live on Fox Sports Go. They make those here in the ballpark? Little fried donut action, huh?
It should have been there for the noon game.
Giovanni Urshela will lead off the 6th. Top of the order follows Jason Kipnis and then Francisco Lindor. Urshela grounded into a double play his only time up in the 3rd. Right-hander Tyler Duffy up in the bullpen.
I was going to say Slager's, he's only given up 1 hit. That left the ballpark. That's how the Indians are on the board. That is it. He really has made it look easy out there for the first 5 innings.
And a pitch in there for a strike. And another weak ground ball. 1 down. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Oak and Oak. Washington Nationals started the day.
How about the outfield?
13.5 in the NL East.
That's the outfield report right there, isn't it? Holy smokes.
That'll test your depth.
Yes, it sure will. Eaton out for the year. Worth has been out for quite a while as well.
Jason Kipnis looks down low. Kip's 0 for 2. Indians have 1 hit, the home run by Jay Bruce in the 4th. The only other base runners, Encarnacion and Roberto Perez, who walked. Check, foul back, 1-1. Beautiful night here in Minneapolis. It was 73 at game time. almost has the feel of a fall evening.
That it does.
Yeah, that rain
Clouds
kind of pushed all the humidity out of the air. Time is called as the Twins go into their shift. Send Escobar to the right side. And the 1-2. Popped him up. Foul. Jimenez racing over there, calling off the third baseman, and makes the catch. Actually, he was calling off the shortstop, Adrianza, who is over there with the only man left on that side of the infield with the shift.
Well, he got down around the third base bag. He went a long way to catch this. He's in foul territory. Watch that ball start coming back. He called him off and says, I got it. So pretty good job of hustling over there to catch the ball. Chris Jimenez going down the line.
And Aaron Slegers just continues to mow him down.
Well, there haven't been many balls hit hard, period. He's had some weak ground outs, some pop-ups.
Lindor sends a fly ball, slicing foul, and the seat's out of play. Jay Bruce probably has the best two at bats of the night. The home run, of course, but even before that, he had a line drive
to left, yes,
to left field.
Yep.
Oh, and 2. Lindor sends a high fly ball to center. Buxton is there. And for the 4th time in 6 innings, Aaron Slegers in his major league debut retires the side in order.
Just $15 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. Tickets are located in the family deck out of Progressive Field, home to our expanded kids clubhouse. The kids tickets only available at Indians.com.
Mike Clevenger stays on here to pitch the 6th. Chris Jimenez will lead it off. And a breaking ball backs up over the inside corner for strike 1. And a low fastball. That time called a ball. Oh, nice pitch, and broke too far off the plate.
There's a good slider.
Struck him out with it. Came right back. Back-to-back strikeouts for Clevenger. One down here in the 6th. Tomorrow night, the road trip continues as the Indians take on the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Corey Kluber and Ian Kennedy, the matchup. Corey Kluber has just been on an absolute tear. Indians Live begins our coverage at 7:30. First pitch at 8. Making his 21st start of the season. Kluber's won 4 straight decisions. A-Ray Adrianza fouls one back. Drove in a run in the 4th inning on a sacrifice fly. And that is the difference in the game. Low and away. Bounced it in there. And a count now 2-2.
We're going to show you how they get their second run. Leadoff hitter, a ball that Urshela dropped. He ends up stealing second base. He is moved over to third, and then the sacrifice fly gets him in. And that's the difference in the game right there.
Ground ball towards short. Lindor throws. It's a bang bang play, and he got him by a whisker for out number 2. Down to Andre.
You know, I know a lot of people at home probably are curious as to why the Indians are using Mike Clevenger the way that they are and why he's been in and out of the rotation. But in talking to Mickey Callaway a few days ago, before they knew that they were going to have a doubleheader today, he thought the last break that Clev had helped him. It helped him understand a little bit more about himself and also what a quality strike for him is. I think they thought at times he forgets and gets away from staying over the plate with his off-speed pitches. They liked how he pitched in Tampa Bay, and they're preparing him to be able to do anything that they may need down the road. They like him as a starter, but as the season goes along, they don't know where they may need him.
Well, he did pitch well in Tampa, no doubt. And he wanted to wear those red uniforms again today, but they put him on file.
He filed a complaint, did he? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right.
The 1-1 to Dozier.
You know, when he stays aggressive, and what Andre's saying, I think, is like when he throws his breaking ball and you throw it early in the count, throw it for strikes. Don't fall behind with it to where you have to give in to the hitters. When he stays aggressive and he throws that good low fastball and he gets ahead of hitters, then that slider gets that much better because he can expand their zone and they'll chase after it. He gets into his problems when he falls behind and starts walking people and he doesn't stay aggressive. But he's young and he's learning. Every time he goes out there, hopefully it's something new. You know, different hitters, you know, every team's a different challenge for you. Well, and if he gets his next start, then it would probably be against Boston in that 4-gamer back in Cleveland. So he's got to be ready for that start.
A little low. Ball 4.
It was a good pitch, but it's a good hitter that's taken that pitch. You see, he's not fishing after it.
And now Joe Mauer with 2 hits on the night. base hit and a left. Mauer's third straight hit.
Yeah, 3 straight singles for Joe Mauer. And again, he gets after that first pitch. He gets on it early. There he goes. They throw him away. He can do that in his sleep. He can hit that ball in the hole to left field all day long. And that's his swing plane. When they've gotten him out and they've changed speeds, went down in the end and got him to swing over the top of pitches. But he loves the ball away. And now you got trouble.
Here's Miguel Sano, 0 for 2 with a walk. He has struck out once. 6 strikeouts in the series for Sano. And that's low. Ball 1. The Twins have out-hit the Indians in this game 10-1. But it remains a 1-run game here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, they've been on the verge all day of, having a big inning, and they just haven't been able to push it through, and figured they get the first 2 guys in this inning. And a 2-out walk on a close pitch and a base hit. Now he falls behind the big boy. Miguel Sano, 2-0.
Three and 0.
Well, don't groove one here. Because I figure 3-0, this guy will have the green light looking for a fastball if he's looking for it. And he'll get after it.
And he walked him on 4 straight. So the bases are loaded. A walk, a hit, another walk after he retired the first 2 to start the inning.
Yeah, that'll bring a Mickey Callaway out to try and settle him down. He was cruising, gets the first 2 guys, and then a walk, hit, walk.
Eduardo Escobar will be the batter. He was in an 0 for 19 slump and 1 for his last 29 before he got an RBI double Tuesday night in the 8th inning. I'm sorry, that was today. Is that game 1? Yeah, it was the first game of the doubleheader. That snapped his lengthy slump, but then he came out here today and he has 2 hits in his last 2 at bats in the second game of the doubleheader. So you thought you had a guy maybe that was really scuffling at the plate. But is he the guy that was 0 for 19, or is he the guy that's 3 for his last 4?
Well, this guy was hot earlier in the year. I remember when we were around. So you got to come back and try and get ahead of him.
Loaded up, nobody out, or 2 out, and the pitch is down and in. Ball 1.
That's exactly what we're talking about there. When you want to throw that breaking ball first pitch to hitters, you have to throw it for a strike. You don't want to try and be too fine with it and be worried about it, because that's the one you want to get ahead with.
Man, boy, I tell you, Escobar was swinging for the downs.
Well, it's good call by Perez there. He went with a changeup, and that was in a great location there. There you go. Changeup down and away. He was sitting, it goes to show you, he's sitting dead red looking for that fastball.
Popped him up, and he should get out of the jam. Lindor is under it. The Twins leave him loaded yet again. Jay Bruce will be leading off for the Tribe when we return. He's given them their only run so far tonight. They're down 1, headed to the 7th. Indians baseball is brought to you by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. By the stylish 2017 Kia Optima, and by Smart Path Forward. Lakeland Community College is your Smart Path Forward. Enroll now. Now here in Minneapolis, the Indians are hanging around. That's the only way to describe it. Minnesota has out-hit them 10-1. 3 times tonight they've had the bases loaded, and they have scored a total of 1 run in those situations.
They have left 11 stranded. The Indians have left 1.
The only hit coming off the bat of Jay Bruce, and it left the park for a home run with 2 out in the 4th inning. Aaron Slegers has pitched very well here tonight in his major league debut.
Well, this was a 3-2 pitch to Jay Bruce right down the middle that he took advantage of. Smoked it for the only hit for the Indians and the only run. And he's been doing it with a a fastball that he's located in and out, up and down. The changeup has been pretty good, and a few breaking balls.
That's off the plate, 2-2. Action once again in the Minnesota bullpen, but they've had action before. Slegers has retired 7 in a row. And he strikes out Bruce to make it 8 straight. It's only his 3rd strikeout tonight.
That was right on the outside edge. That was well located pitch. I mean, when you look at that fastball, you can dot it right there. And I'll tell you what, Jimenez has done a nice job with him. Calling him, keeping guys off balance. He's mixed it up, and that really was a perfect pitch.
Edwin Encarnacion with the shift on, pulls it foul. Encarnacion popped up in the 2nd inning. He walked following the Jay Bruce home run, and that's the last man to reach. Rope to left, and that's a base hit. Boy, you couldn't play much deeper than Rosario, who was only a few steps in front of the warning track. So a 1-out single Encarnacion.
Here comes the fastball inside, and he was ready for it, and he did not miss that one. And now Paul Molitor is going out and going to make the call to the bullpen.
Aaron Slegers will get a nice hand in his major league debut. Goes 6 1/3, allows 2 hits.
Yeah, you can't pitch any better than this kid did tonight, and they're appreciating his effort, rightfully so.
Indians have the tying run at first with 1 out here in the 7th inning. And right-hander Trevor Hildenberger coming on to pitch. This guy was a 22nd round pick in 2014, but he's the first guy from that draft class to make it to the big leagues for Minnesota. Climbing the ladder quickly, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he slings it. He gives you a different look there. He's got the fastball. And, you know, a changeup is probably his second best pitch, and then he goes to the slider. It's a matter of just finding his release point. And I don't know if he's faced any of the Indians hitters before. This is the first time I've seen him.
First pitch to Carlos Santana is a breaking ball strike. Hildenberger out of Cal Berkeley. Missed inside. We always talk about guys normally are drafted as starters and then kind of end up in the bullpen. This guy was a relief pitcher in college at Cal Berkeley. His senior year, he tied a school record with 10 saves as a senior. Santana booms one by a diving Joe Mauer. Encarnacion will go all the way to third. Santana hustles into second, and then falling is Kepler. The ball gets by him. Encarnacion scores. Santana into third. We're tied at 2. So the Indians catch a break when Kepler lost his footing in the right field corner, and the Tribe has tied the game.
I'm going to wait to see how they scored. This ball was smoked. It looked like it might have been a changeup on the outer part of the plate, and he just pulls it past Mauer, and then Kepler goes over and trips.
He slips. He looks like he just loses
Oh, there
his
it was.
footing.
He slipped on the turf and he gets by him.
So they're going to give Santana a triple.
Okay, because of the wet field, the turf, he went down. So if they give Santana a triple, you give him the RBI, and we've got a new ball game.
Tied at 2, and that run, unfortunately for Aaron Slegers, gets charged to him. Now Jackson bangs it right at the third baseman. He'll keep Santana there, and 2 down. So Ajax unable to give the Indians the lead there. And now they'll look for a 2-out hit from Abraham Almonte. Now, they were not going to send Encarnacion, but once Kepler lost his footing and went down, had enabled the Tribe to tie the game.
I didn't see him slide on that turf, but that's what he did. His feet sort of went out from under him, and once it got by him, then you could score Encarnacion. Golden opportunity.
You know, we see that frequently, and I don't know if it's something to do with the way that the modern day spikes that these guys wear are made. But if you don't get that foot down firmly, if you catch it on the side, it's like they're on ice skates. They just go right down. Now the 0-1. Shoots it. Foul. Well, that would have been a thing of beauty had he been able to poke that one inside the chalk.
Well, there's the divot. Please replace your divots. Well, you see, that's a big piece of turf right there that came up.
The 0-2. Almonte reaching for it, trying to hustle down the line. Here's the flip to the pitcher, and the out ends the inning. But Carlos Santana with a smash into the right field corner. The slip by Kepler, and the Indians have tied the game. Continue the exhibition season, and on Training Camp Daily they're going to talk about Brock Osweiler, who gets the starting nod. That's tonight at 11 on Sports Time Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Well, we go down to the 7th inning, tied at 2, and Mike Clevenger, who's worked an inning and a third of scoreless relief, will stay on to face Eddie Rosario. He got himself into trouble and out of trouble in the 6th, when with 2 outs he walked a couple, gave up a hit, and loaded him up, but retired Eduardo Escobar to end the inning. Wow. Robbie Grossman suffered a fractured left thumb tonight on that collision with Byron Buxton. Yeah.
It didn't look like much, did it, in that replay?
No. Swung on and missed. Eddie Rosario 1 for 3. on the night. Chops it foul. So the Twins lose Robbie Grossman to a fractured thumb. And in the first game of today's doubleheader, if you joined us late or missed it earlier, Jose Ramirez got hit by a pitch and it looked really bad. But afterwards, they said that all the tests came back negative, so nothing broken. Swing and a miss. Clevenger strikes out Rosario.
Yeah, let's look at it. Doesn't look like much, and you know, this is a play where, you know, Buxton's got it all the way. He just comes up and just hits it funny.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really look that bad, but boy, enough to have a fractured thumb. That's too bad for him. You know, he's getting a chance to play out in right field in game 2 of the doubleheader, so he wants to make sure he wants to get to that ball. And that's going to cost him a little time, that's for sure.
And guys, 4 or 5 innings later, think about the play that just happened in the top half of this inning, and he's not out there in right field.
Yeah.
It's amazing what one play can do.
1-0 pitch. And Kepler pulls it foul. Well, Andre, to me, the thing that makes that play even more amazing is Kepler's the guy who's normally out there.
Right.
You know, had it been Grossman that slips, you would have said, see, you know, here's the guy that hasn't played much out there. He goes down. But Kepler's the guy who's been out there most of the time. And as Rick said, I don't know if that had anything to do with the field, all the moisture it took on last night, or if it was just a case where he just didn't get his foot down clean.
Well, I don't know if you guys have a better picture if we can get a shot of his shoes. A lot of these guys wear those plastic spikes, and I don't know why you would do that on grass, especially when it's been wet.
There's a blast to deep right, and Kepler just made up for it. Minnesota regains the lead 3-2.
Well, you can see he was on a mission, because I'm sure he didn't feel good about himself sliding at that ball, but boy, he more than made up for it with that swing there. And he's a guy that loves it down and in, and that's his nitro zone. And Clev found it right there. So Kepler hits his 15th, and they retake the lead.
(3-2) Minnesota. Byron Buxton to the plate. Showing bunt, takes it down low. Low fastball, 2-0. High fly ball, right field. Bruce back. 2 down. And that will bring up catcher Chris Jimenez, 0 for 3 on the night. Missed outside with it. Fastball right at the bottom of the zone, down the heart of the dish, and it's 1-1. Out of play to the right. Max Kepler with his 15th home run of the year. Just moments after he slipped and let a ball get by him that allowed the Indians to tie the game, he puts the Twins right back in front. Strike 3 called. The inning is over. It's 3-2 Minnesota as we go to the 8th. Presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Now the Indians have some rallying to do now. Down a run. In the 8th, it's Roberto Perez, Giovanni Urshela, and Jason Kipnis. And Trevor Hildenberger will stay on after yielding the game tying triple at the time and then getting the next 2 batters out to end the inning. Well, Minnesota's been able to, after the Indians have been able to get a run on the board, they come right back in the bottom of the inning like they did in the 4th to take it right back. Some of that momentum. And now you're running out of outs. You're down to 6 now. Twins have a lefty up in the pen. Probably ready for Kipnis, who's due up 3rd. Perez checked. Called a strike. It's 0-2. Right down the heart of the plate. Struck him out, 1 away. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Aaron Slager's in his major league debut looked anything but like a rookie. Well, watch how he locates a fastball. He elevates it. He pitches up above the belt. He was moving it in. He was moving it out. They had some weak ground balls. Got a double play turn. He mixed in some changeups, but that was an excellent fastball. He was able to locate his fastball very well today. And he's coming away with no decision because they ended up scoring. He left with only giving up his 2nd hit, and he came around to score. So he's up for a no decision, but he pitched very well tonight for him. Urshela bangs one up the middle, but Dozier near the bag flips it over, 2 down. Paul Molitor will go to the left-hander to face Jason Kipnis. We'll be right back. 3-2 Minnesota in the 8th.
Indians down a run. Left-hander Taylor Rogers on for the 52nd time this year.
He has 26 holds for Minnesota this year. It says the most in all of baseball. So he's done his job when he comes on and he has the lead. They have nobody on. You have 2 outs in the inning. He's on to face left-hander Jason Kipnis.
Yeah, the 26 most in baseball. Matt Guerrier and J.C. Romero tied for the franchise record with 33. Guerrier did it in 09 and Romero did it in 02. So he's right there with some of the best relievers in Twins history in terms of the whole statistic. He only needs 1 out to send this one to the 9th inning. And Jason Kipnis takes a fastball for a strike. Off the plate, 1-1. Oh man, nice changes of pace. That was 79 miles an hour. And watch this one. Kipnis was just way out in front of it.
Yeah, once you commit, that ball never stops moving. It is a big sweeper. Going from left to right.
And a low fastball brings him up. 3-2 Twins, middle of the 8th. Of the 8th. A-Ray Adrianza will lead it off. Then it's Brian Dozier and Joe Mauer. Mike Clevenger has worked 2 1/3. He allowed a home run to Max Kepler that gave Minnesota the 3-2 lead in the 7th. Has struck out 4, walked a pair. Adrianza takes all the ball. That one's hit hard. Deep right, Bruce looking up. He's going to play it off the wall. He's got a chance. Here's the throw, and it's a little offline. He slides in safely. Adrianza with a leadoff double.
Well, there's one changeup out over the plate that speeds up his bat. That's the pitch that Kepler hit, was a changeup down in the end. So Adrianza, it's his 6th double. That leads off this 9th. They're going to try and get him over and get him in for a little insurance run here.
Brian Dozier, a couple of hits tonight and a run scored. Tries to bunt it, and it goes foul. Normally, when you've got a guy at the plate with a couple of hits already, and he's got 23 homers, 22 doubles, you think, don't bunt here, but when you've got Joe Mauer behind you, why not?
Well, I'm thinking that this guy's good enough. He can go to right field. I'm thinking he did that on his own.
Shows bunt again, takes, and it's 1-1.
You know, and however you do it, it doesn't matter. Your job right now is to get that guy to third base. So whether that sign is on by the manager or it's your opportunity, you do it the way you feel you can do it best.
A little low with a fastball, 2-1.
He was going to take it back and take a hack at it.
.50 pitches for Clevenger and 50-50 balls to strikes. And now more balls than strikes as that one is yanked wide of the zone. 3-1 with Joe Mauer on deck.
Yeah, you get that when you have a lead late in the ball game. They've been swinging the bats well, and you get a guy on second to lead an inning off, and you're getting to your big hitters. Even though Dozier's the leadoff hitter, you don't give up and out here. You make Clevenger work his way through it.
He walked him. And the first two are aboard here in the 8th.
It's already the 3rd walk for Clevenger, and you can see more balls than strikes in this thing, and that's one of the problems. Now, Mauer has 3 straight singles, and he's been just slapping the ball the other way. He's been aggressive early in the count. I want to see if they start changing a little sequence how they pitched him. First and second, you know he's not going to bunt here. Although, you know what, when he was hitting 4th one game against us, he did lay down a bunt, and I couldn't believe it.
Nothing surprises you anymore, does it?
Well, it shouldn't.
A strike called.
Well, there he goes. Now you get runners in scoring position, and that patience comes back into play. This is a guy that's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. But he has seen enough pitches away, and he's been able to go that way in game 2 here. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Don't let him lean out over the plate on you.
Down low, 2-1.
Having a tough time throwing strikes.
Trevor Bauer is actually warming in the Indians bullpen.
Would this be a side day and his throwing day?
And
the reason why he's down there in the ninth throwing, it's not like he's going to come in. It's his side day. This is going to be Clevenger to get in and out of. But if he continues to keep throwing balls, there'll probably be someone else up, I would think.
And a strike call, 2-2.
Well, there's another low pitch right there. Look at Mauer look up now, thinking that one was a little down.
Well, he's been inconsistent calling that pitch. Sometimes he's called it, sometimes he hasn't.
Right.
So. Hold it. Foul. Two on, nobody out. Now the 2-2. Full count. Well, you got Miguel Sano once again waiting on deck. It seems like he's been on deck or at the plate in a lot of these situations where they've had men on base tonight. It's been a struggle for the Twins to blow this game open, though they've had a myriad of opportunities to do so.
Yes, they have. They've left 11 stranded to this point. They have 2 more out there.
The 3-2. Out of play. So far tonight, the Twins have left 3 on in the second, 2 on in each of the third and the fourth, and 3 more left stranded in the sixth. Swung on and missed. Oh, Clevenger strikes out Mauer with a good changeup. And that gives him 5 on the night. This baby goes straight down.
Yes. There you go. Again, they go to inside the Mauer with 2 strikes and not give him that ball away, and he comes up empty, and it was a changeup. So they get the first out. Clevenger's done for the night.
So much for the side day. Here comes Trevor Bauer. He'll come on and pitch here in the 8th with 2 on and 1 out. 2 on and 1 out. This has been about as unorthodox a game as we've seen the Indians play from a pitching usage standpoint.
Right.
They called up Ryan Merritt as the 26th man and gave him the start. And now out of the bullpen today, we've seen starting pitchers Mike Clevenger and Trevor Bauer now.
Yeah, it's still a 3-2 game. And they're still trying to keep that Surra on the board. They got the big strikeout to Bauer. Clevenger did. That finished his day. He went 2 1/3 innings. Or was it 2 2/3?
Miguel Sano sends a high fly ball right center field. Jay Bruce makes the catch in right. 2 down. By the way, Ryan Merritt started. I had him down for 60 pitches, but I'm looking on the stat sheet. They've got 61. So he made 61 pitches in 3 2/3. Clevenger out of the bullpen went 2 2/3. He made 60 pitches.
Yeah, he was all over the place, and it was about as many balls as it was strikes.
Oh, and Trevor Bauer get Escobar and get out of this. Then the Indians are still only down a run going to their last at bat. And they'll have Lindor, Bruce, and Encarnacion due up. Bauer fires a fastball in there for strike 1. The 0-1 yanked into right field, a base hit. Coming around third. Adrianza will score. Dozier stops at third. And the Twins get a huge insurance run, extending their lead to 4-2.
Well, it was just a matter of time, and it's a curveball that Escobar is going to get. And he drives it down to right field. That'll be a double. And they get it in, so there is the insurance run they were looking for.
And now Eddie Rosario to the plate. Oh, wow, Rosario demonstratively turning away from home plate umpire Chad Fairchild. But in Rosario's defense, he's had players on both sides wondering about the strike zone tonight. Bauer's 0-1. Swung on and missed over the top there. 0-2 the count. Second and third. 2 down. And the 0-2 pitch is down low. Bauer scheduled to start Saturday in Kansas City. Corey Kluber will go tomorrow night. Danny Salazar will pitch the finale on Sunday. Now the 1-2 is in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-2. Back out of play. Two. Swung on and missed. He struck him out with a breaking ball to end the inning. But the Twins add an insurance run here in the 8th. And as we go to the 9th, Francisco Lindor ready to lead it off for the Tribe, and we'll see if they can rally next. Francisco Lindor taking a first pitch strike from Taylor Rogers. Lindor 0 for 3 tonight, 2 out of 14 in the series. And a foul right back to the screen. Matt Belisle warming in the pen for the Twins. But with Lindor and then Bruce, Paul Molitor stays with the left-hander. He may go to Belisle for Encarnacion. Hit well, center field. Buxton going back. He's got plenty of speed, runs it down, 1 away. Storylines tonight brought to you by Mazda. 6-game winning streak in jeopardy. Indians pitching 10 strikeouts or more and That streak's about to go down as well. If we tie this up and go to extra innings, does the streak count if they get to 10 in extra innings? I guess it would count, right? Yeah. Jay Bruce. His home run back in the 4th. Got the Indians on the board, got them their first hit in the game.
Yeah, they've only had 3. The other 2 coming in the 7th inning when they were able to tie the game at 2. It was a single and then a triple, aided by a slip in the outfield by Kepler. So you need a base runner to get that tying run to the plate. So you'd love to see Bruce get on here, and they'd have a couple chances with Edwin and then Santana in the hole.
Kind of caught in between. He didn't go, and it's.
Well, let's see, because there was a couple he was calling down in the zone, and that was awfully close, but that one went in Bruce's favor, so it's a 3-1 count now.
Swings and pulls it foul, full count. Edwin waits on deck. Payoff pitch. Bruce pops it foul. That's going to get out of play. Now the payoff.
Oh boy,
waited on
off.
it and pushed it foul the other way.
Well, I wanted to stay on that breaking ball, so just foul that one off. Realized it was going to be a strike, so just foul it off. Any way to get out.
Eighth pitch of the at bat coming up here for Jay Bruce. And the payoff. He fouls another one off.
And he turned around to ask if that was a strike, and I think it would have been. That one was another good low fastball by Rogers.
He lays off and draws a walk, so the tying run will come to the plate here in the 9th inning, and Paul Molitor will indeed go to the right-hander to face Edwin Encarnacion.
Very good at bat to give your team an opportunity, bring that tying run to the plate.
So Taylor Rogers will head to the dugout. Matt Belisle will be coming on when we come back.
Need base runners, and this is what you call a guy that you look at. He's going to do anything he can to get on base. You want to hit, but he's taking the breaking ball. That was a break right there. But then he fouls off a couple of tough pitches on the fastballs away. He'll foul another breaking ball off away until he gets a full count. And then he's going to take the breaking ball for ball 4. Really a good at bat to get on base, keep the inning going, and just give your guys an opportunity to tie it up right now.
Well, this is an interesting matchup here. These guys were teammates for parts of 4 seasons back in Cincinnati. Matt Belisle against Edwin Encarnacion.
Boy, and you talk about it, look at the Twins outfield. You talk about deep, that guy in center field, he can go get him with the best of them. And the only thing he's going to do is cut anything off. They're as deep as you can get. They're not going to let you score on a double because they're going to try and cut it off and keep everything in front of them.
Well, Edwin's only hit 15 doubles this year. Usually if he hits them, they go over the fence.
Yeah, he wants them over the fence. You're right. And that's what he's thinking right here. But he's down in the count 0-2. So he's going to try and get him to expand the zone. I would think sliders away or something off the dish. If he's going to beat you, you got to make him go to right center field. I think if you're Belisle.
And that's low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Edwin did single his last time up on a hard hit ball to left.
He just didn't elevate it. He did hit it hard though. He centered that baseball.
And the 1-2 out of play. Now the 1-2. And Edwin ropes it foul. Boy, he hit that hard too.
Yeah, he made a mistake there. He came down and into him, and he just dropped the barrel head of the bat on that baseball. And it was foul. They're playing him over on that line, but boy, oh boy, he got into his wheelhouse. And that was it. That was by Escobar by the time he could jump. Okay, now refocus, slider away. That was his mistake.
Goes back in there again.
Okay. They wanted to take him off of that outside part of the plate, but they did a nice job following this one straight back. He made a mistake. This one they elevated a little more, but he still fouled it off. He's right on it. Now Jimenez wants to go have a talk with him and see, what are you thinking here? And they doubled up inside. That's the place where if you make a mistake, he could give you 2 runs with 1 swing. Brandon Kinsler was the closer. He was traded to the Nationals. He is no longer.
Oh, he threw it by him. It was a fastball. It was right there. The kind of pitch Edwin was probably hoping for. He got it, but couldn't square it up.
No, he had the big swing. He tried to lift it, and he was trying one thing and one thing only, to hit it out of the ballpark. Watch the lift, and pulled off. That front side flies open, and they get the second out.
So 2 down. And the last hope for the Tribe now rests with Carlos Santana.
Yeah, Bruce can take off and go to second base if he wants. They're playing behind him, playing on the line with the left-hander, so go to second. Don't stay there. They're giving you second base. They're more concerned the guy at the plate.
Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. Matt Belisle ready with the 0-2 offering. A little too high. A 1-2. And that'll do it. Minnesota splits the doubleheader and ends the Indians' 6-game win streak with a 4-2 victory.